What does life look like for a 41-year-old single woman in Shanghai?
It's a message from my sister. Let me translate it. Someone is going to add your WeChat. His family runs factories. He's divorced with no children. And he's quite a looker. He's 2 years older than you. He said he really admires the fact that you've studied and worked abroad. And that's why he doesn't mind your age.
Thank you so much.
If things work out, you should come over here and find a job, which means I should move to his city. It's be best to have a baby within 2 years. Otherwise, the older you get, the harder it's be on your health. Let me think about how to reply this message. Gent has changed some of my habits. Before him, proms felt like too much work. Now I buy them almost every week because they're his favorite. Living alone does create some problems. Someone once told me that they wanted to marry because cooking for one wasted too much food.
I split the prawns into 3 portions, one for Gent, one for today, and one to freeze.
Traditionally, the Chinese husband provides the house and living cost of the family. The wife takes responsibility of household and raises the children. That is why she stressed that his family owns factories. To her, that was proof of financial stability. The same logic made my fertility part of the arrangement. They treated the timing of my pregnancy as something they could discuss. A 2-year timeline seemed reasonable to them. But a home paid for by him will not automatically become mine.
Generally, the property belongs to whoever buys it, but housework has no monetary value. My relative genuinely thought she was helping me out of a difficult situation, but it felt like replacing one problem with a much larger one. Compared to the marriage issue, another major hassle of living alone is eating watermelon.
I hope this one would last 4 days because I couldn't eat the whole one just one day by myself. But the watermelon had other ideas. My small fridge was even less propelled. This evening, a former colleague had invited me to the theater. We once worked at the same company. After we left, she joined another company. 6 years later, she was married and had a child. I went to Britain to study, then worked in London. Now I was back in Shanghai alone. I catch the smell of the water, I'm transported back to London. She had invited me to see Inter Alia.
It was a filmed National Theatre production starring Rosamund Pike, screened here in Shanghai.
At its center is a judge whose son is accused of rape. Her professional certainty collides with her own family. During the play, I remembered something someone in my family told me about 20 years ago. She spoke about sex in her marriage, who is my and other family. She said she was in pain. Then I learned marriage meant a wife could no longer say no.
Years later in Britain, I heard consent stated plainly. Marriage does not remove it. Chinese law contains similar provisions. Just the law goes further than family's education.
Outside, her husband was waiting in the car. She ran towards to him. She looked happy. I took the underground home on my own. 20 years ago, I might have added him out of politeness. I would have waited for a reason that sounded acceptable. But this time, I already had an answer. I'm going to send a message to my sister. Thank you for your offer, but I would like to stay in Shanghai. The man may be kind, but no one had asked whether I wanted to spend my life with him. No one had asked whether I wanted to have a child with him. And all of this came before we had even met. I shouldn't turn off the light. So right now I'm really worried about Janet. He stay alone at home without any light. Sorry. 对不起，不应该关灯。Even without this person, I'm not in a place where marriage or having children makes sense for me right now. This year, both of my divorced parents may need to be admitted to hospital at the same time. As their only child, I cannot see how I could have a baby while also becoming the main caregiver for them.